It's like my dad always said, even the sun shines on a dog's ass every once in a while, and everyone that's worked with me knows that I say that maybe 5 to 10 times a day. And I may have been a little generous with our previous video where I specifically said that you could get an SS for 20 to 25,000, when in actuality, they were probably a little bit more around 35 to 45,000. I own it, I messed up, and I'm sorry for getting everyone all excited only to go to cars.com and realize that it's wrong. But it did grab your attention. But hey, there are car manufacturers like that where they do this sort of thing all the time, a little swapperoonie, okay? I'm Alex at FI on Instagram, and today we're gonna be talking about a car that is definitely playing the price starting at game, okay? A car that is so revolutionary that you can't help but doubt that they're not gonna take it back because it's just priced, it's almost priced too well. It's like the $5 footlong. You know they're gonna take it away, but you just enjoy it while you can. A car that, just like summer break, you're just not sure if that crush you had is the same person because now, back in school, they've got a BlackBerry. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're gonna be talking about you wanting to own a Chevrolet Corvette C8. For the 12 people that actually have the budget for this car, I don't. And if you're just jumping into one of our videos, hello, welcome to Fitment Industries. We started now 4 years ago because we found that finding wheels, tires, and suspension that fit was actually really freaking impossible. So we started our own Fitment Industries gallery where we could just get people to easily submit their cars with their fitment for their platform, and it helped other people figure out what wheels, tires, and suspension fit their car. So it kind of took a lot of the guessing out of it. So if you haven't seen our gallery yet, be sure to check it out over at fitmentindustries.com, and that is where the whole wheel, tire, and suspension plug came from. The C8 Corvette is a new iteration on the classic platform from Chevrolet that chose to move the engine behind you, the trunk more so in front of you, and the interior controls right next to you. A little bit of the Toyota Super Dash thing it's got going on. And when first introduced, the world was blown away at the decision for Corvette to move to a mid-engine platform because, by golly, that was domestic and it don't belong there. But it was actually something that they've thought about in the past. This is where you really want to like cue the black and white pictures for historical reference purposes, okay? In 1959, Chevy was putting together prototypes like the CERV or the Chevrolet Engineering Research Vehicle, which was essentially a single-seater race car that came from the brain of a man named Zora Dontov, a Belgian engineer who wanted the Chevrolet to be just as good as everyone actually thought it was, especially with the introduction of the Chevrolet Corvette. Now, Dontov wasn't essentially a fan of the Gen 1 performance, suspension, or driving characteristics, and his goal was to put the engine where it ought to be, in the middle. And he made that his dream, okay? And Dontov proved that this would work through his CERV-2 in 1964, and again, the Astro 2, which cured quite a bit of Chevrolet's quirks that made it a typical domestic sports car. It was actually a really good mid-engine sports car. However, Dontov failed at convincing Chevrolet at the time, even with the new iteration of the Corvette with a mid-engine platform, because they didn't want to do it. Yeah. All right, but it planted the seed that would inevitably actually lead to the C8 platform. This is almost 50 to 60 years ago that this seed was planted, and it finally started to pay off. Now, Dontov tried making mid-engineering with the CRV-1, but Chevy withdrew from racing, and that's why they ultimately didn't end up moving forward with his design. Then he tried with the CRV-2, but GM pulled the plug on all the racing activities, and because of the Corvair issue, GM stopped letting people put engines in weird places. Again, this man is a determined fellow. Third gen, all right? Well, DeLorean got all up in the way of producing it, and the oil embargo crushed the opportunity for Dontov to reproduce and put the engine in the middle of the car, which is where he wanted it in the first place.
This man was driven to have it in the right spot.
And this happened over and over until eventually Chevy got so confused that it made a car called the XP897 GT, which was a two-rotor Corvette. Not what he wanted at all right? The history matters because it just shows how driven Dontov was at the time, even when the CEO of Chevrolet at the time, Richard Gerstenberg, told him that he didn't understand why. Why would they change anything with the Corvette platform when it was a platform that always sold? Cue the whole thing between money and passion, all right? And the decades that led up to the C8 saw plenty of hidden, secret projects from Chevrolet that would have blown the doors off its competition with the motor behind your noggin. But hey, not saying I'm spiteful, but we finally got it, and it's pretty neat. The C8 has some design elements from its C7 older brother, but but most of its brand is actually insanely new. Most of everything in the elements of the car are new. You have massive side air scoops, rear grills, square steering wheel, that's interesting, and fancy buttons that look like you're about to jump into Tesla's new spaceship. It is a very neat and different car. Now, the Corvette comes in your typical trim options right now. You get the 1LT, the 2LT, and the 3LT. They're pretty normal right now, okay? And you get different suspension options which correspond to the different Z51 performance packages that are available as well. And in addition to that, you now get various seat options. You get a GT1 all the way up to a Competition Sport. They're upselling you literally on everything, all right? Depending on how much you like your lower back support is depending on which seat you're actually gonna buy. And while the motor is a revised LS from the C7, the new 6.2-liter naturally aspirated Freedom Fighter is rated at 490 horsepower, 465 foot-pounds of torque with a dry sump lubrication system, which makes it a race car. People like saying that because it just sounds super impressive. I mean, it's good, it's cool, it helps, but is it? 2.8 seconds, 0 to 60 done by car and driver, and an 8-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission, all right? Unequal length double wishbone suspension, and some fancy electronic optional LSD, and it comes in a right-hand drive configuration to be imported into Australia, Japan, and the UK markets, and that is a big deal because that means that this platform is staying around for a hot minute, all right? The car itself is quite the concoction of technology as it combines everything that Chevy had previously been working on into one Ferrari-esque looking domestic. But what's really driving the conversation is the price, the availability, and the fact of all the stuff that it actually puts into one platform, which is why we're done talking about the brief history of the C8. You want that? Honestly, it's like 12 months old, man. Just like go read it somewhere. Like it's still being talked about in like every other article that you hear. No, we are here to talk about you wanting to own one of these bad boys, okay? So you want a Chevrolet or Chevrolet, depending on where you're from, Corvette C8, okay? Well, set down your financial paperwork and grab your favorite 4-leaf clover because we're gonna talk about what it's like to own this brand new domestic potential supercar killer and or car that they will immediately drop because it's actually not that good, but we're too new into the system yet, so we're actually in the honeymoon phase of a relationship and we don't know if it's gonna be good. If you're one of the few people on our channel that truly enjoy domestics, there's like 6 of us, welcome, because we love them too. Domestic cars have truly come a long way, and the new Corvette is proof of that. On paper, it's going to be a tough car to beat both around the track and for your weekly Sunday cruise. It really does do everything. So if you've got $60,000, is this the car to buy or own? Well, we're gonna probably lose a couple people on that number, but the answer is maybe. If you want a C8, you have to be comfortable with the following things coming down the hill. Number 1, you're the cool kid that gets the platform the first, but your car also dates the hardest and fails the fastest, usually. Launch generations usually see an update after 1 or 2 years, just like the Supra, and most of the time you're gonna see most of your recalls in your initial versions of a brand new platform. Number 2, the car is built for future updates and improvements. Mark my words. Manual's coming for this car. Additionally, Chevy is working on a high-revving 32-valve flat plane that looks like it belongs in this engine bay. You'll see odd openings in the engine bay and through enough wiggle room for you to think that they're probably gonna be putting something else in here, which is good because they do have performance variants of the Corvette that they're gonna be building up to, which means once they introduce those things, your base model tanks. And while the entry price is under $60,000, that'll barely get you the wheels to push you down the road. Cars like this trimmed up end up costing you right around $75,000, which is why they can brag about the fact that the car is $60K, which is still decent considering what you get. But can you modify it? Yes. For people like you and people like me who don't want to spend around, $60,000 on a stock C8 Corvette, but if you do, you can take a perfectly good platform and ruin it just a teeny tiny bit, just a little bit from us over here in the garage, because why not? Modifying these cars is going to be a blast. I mean, who cares the fact that it has 194 mile per hour top speed, exceptional handling characteristics, potential magnetic selective ride control, and probably more money in R&D than we'll likely ever have in a savings account. But we still want to modify it. Can you do it on a brand new platform? The answer is yes, okay? Ask Amelia Hartford, okay? She's like turbocharging, scoring water meth and running at a bajillion miles an hour. The thing is a tank, and she's just like driving the living out of it, and it's absolutely awesome to watch because they've taken a brand new platform and have made it an insanely fun, potential, and capable car that can do just about everything. And it's gonna be really exciting to see just how much people like Amelia go and take those platforms to the absolute moon with everything they think is possible. When they partner up with brands like Sheepy and this and that, they're gonna do an absolute fantastic job. And so far, the cars have done pretty damn well. You've also got twin turbo kits from yours truly from Hennessy, and wide body kits from Panda, and wheels from HRE and Vossen and ADV, ladies and gentlemen. It's just like the beautiful bespoke fitment companies are coming out of the woodwork, and they're making awesome wheels for this platform already, which you pretty much are stuck doing anyway because nobody else really has the platform specs yet. But it's a beautiful car that most definitely will perform and set the bar for available performance under $100,000. But just like properly made barbacoa, it just needs a little bit of time to sit and melt into the automotive community, all right? And here's why. They're still being sold for $20,000 above MSRP, and they barely have the ability to modify lightly. Like, you just gotta go all the way in if you want to modify these cars, and that means that they're crazy, expensive, and experimental. This is one of those long-term Christmas gift asks in our eyes, and will definitely be a future car to modify because of its looks and because of its performance, but I think we may just be a little bit early on this one, unless you have like 100 grand just to burn. But what do you think? Let us know below, and of course, if you're looking for aftermarket wheels, tires, or suspension for your newly acquired C8 Corvette or otherwise, hit us up over at fitmentindustries.com. I'm Alex from Fitment Industries, and we will see you later. Peace.